not too far off from the forgotten elven grounds, where a floral scent is carried with the wind, flowing through the land's green and thick meadows, rests a metropolis to the very north of the continent, consisting of an ingenious populace, full of merchants and the desires of many that were once controlled by the kingdom. Boundless opportunity and abundance. Make no mistake, in this grim and disastrous land of adversity, this description isn't of a mere legend or the exaggerated passage of some sacred narrative. This simply portrays the capital in which those gather to prosper. This would be the free city of Novigrad. Novigrad is credited as being the largest and wealthiest city in the Northern Realms, while serving as one of the major supply ports for the entire continent. The city isn't simply acknowledged for its sheer size and assortment of marketplaces. It is also regarded as perhaps one of the most welcoming locations due to its rich and diverse population, full of various races and talents. What attracts so many to this wondrous land, other than the city's graceful architecture and convenience, would be its plentiful work opportunities that allow many to thrive, regardless of their trade. The best part? In Novigrad, resources and workers are always in demand. This is incredibly apparent before even walking upon the city's grounds. Its outskirts, often referred to as the far corners, are filled with crops and livestock, busy fields full of men and women working tirelessly to meet the city's demands. The land's growing capabilities entices farmers from all around the continent to consider making a living within the city, for where there are such viable resources, there is room for variety and competition. Though this kind of work is no different from the labor of common peasants who dwell in other areas, Novigrad's convenience and safety makes for a more sensible living location for those that value both the personal and financial security of their families. But perhaps the most beneficial aspect of the outskirts would be its beautiful setting and nature. Those that grow tired of the busy and frantic urban life of the city will often journey to the outside, if not for just a moment to clear their minds before returning to their tiring obligations. It is not uncommon to find residents sleeping outside near the region's calming lakes and concealed camping grounds. Many who reside in the outskirts enjoy holding festivals, as well as specialized workshops and tasting events. Visitors who, due to their journey, may be relieved once reaching Novigrad do get a glimpse of its surrounding splendor, where a calm stream flows north until reaching the city's front, a huge wall that completely divides it from the outside world, an accomplishment that can be credited to some of Oxenfurth's most brilliant architects.
Just talk.
The entrance to Novigrad is nothing but remarkable. Immediately, visitors are met with a looming silhouette created from its towering gateway, only to be overwhelmed with a complete view of its hectic townsfolk. Just then, the warm sunlight begins to crawl from the shadows in which I had encompassed it before, revealing the city's rough roads, not to mention the smell of steel and mulch. Novigrad is divided into a number of districts, many of which serve as the foundation for various merchants and residential properties. Upon entering the city, visitors are graced with the very first district, Glory Lane. This area is home to many of the city's low-income residents, largely consisting of individuals who work the fields during the day. Though this district isn't very open due to clustered housing, it does have its own perks, in which allow for expedient traversal throughout the city. Its long and sometimes leveled passageways demonstrates the city's architectural variation, with numerous steps and slopes to accommodate its unique features. Though the alleyways often come as a labyrinth to the unfamiliar, every tunneling course tends to have its own surprise of events, people, and discourse. Granted, these areas tend to be unsafe during the evening due to the presence of gangs and swindlers. It is a blessing that the road down Glory Lane isn't too far off from the city center, Hierarch Square. Generally considered the heart of the city, it is in this area where much of the magic and entertainment occurs. Many of the city's most iconic spectacles, live music and theater, can be observed throughout the day at Hierarch Square. Due to the location's reputation and wealth, some of the most well-known merchants have flocked to this division of the city, not only to operate amongst their competitors, but to also obtain immense proceeds. Hierarch Square is also known for its financial sector, where one can trade other forms of currency for Novigrad crowns. Of course, such business is primarily conducted at Novigrad's very own Vivaldi Bank, which is often regarded as the finest financial branch to grace the Northern Kingdoms. It is from this moment where many suddenly become aware of perhaps one of Novigrad's harshest qualities, that being its socioeconomic divide. Indeed, the city's condensed housing and expanding marketplaces makes it nearly impossible to not notice the disparity in classes, from the poorest of residents that walk the littered streets of Glory Lane to the elite inhabitants of Gildorf. Such differences may often come off as a mere afterthought to visitors who are used to the fierce and unforgiving land of Ellen. But to those that have resided in the city for quite some time, these differences mean everything. The low-income residents, though hard-working, are not unaware of their circumstances in a city that is often regarded as the most wealthiest in the north. Those that sit in the middle of the spectrum are often frustrated despite being content. Ironically, they tend to look upon the poor as lazy and even uncouth. Yet, the city's most affluent individuals are unfazed, neither interested or particularly concerned about the economic climate in which they flourish in. For them, if it is not the joys that can be afforded from their riches, then it is the windmill in which enables them to thrive and conquer that matters most. Countless of these individuals are in fact born into their wealth, But there are others who have fought their way through their dirty trenches. Some are writers and composers who seek to push the creative envelope that is often shackled by their frightened society, while others gain from the city's unrivaled need for pleasure. Many choose to accept their fate, generally grateful for the security and opportunity that is available within the city's walls. Others have become aware of the corrupt system in which they serve, one where such questioning is often silenced. Truthfully, Novigrad is not a free city. You see, it does have one ruler, a master above all currency, status, and propaganda. That master being religion. Though its people believe that they have freed themselves as instruments from the questionable and often suspicious agendas of men, they fully welcome a rabid cult and ideology, more commonly known as the Internal Fire. The Internal Fire is said to protect the city from its outer evils, something that its insiders know all too well. Its followers are devout. Who wouldn't be? Why question the city's protected luxuries and securities, particularly when there is a merciless alternative? Novigrad's walls have in fact never been breached by monsters. Yet, some could say that such wickedness has already found its habitat within its borders, under the safe and protected laws of the Church. There is an island that is entirely dedicated to the great temple of Eternal Fire. It is surrounded by a small population of homes that overlook the vast ocean, where supply ships returning from the Isles of Skellige can be seen in the distance. Travelers from the islands are common due to the import of goods, often involving specialized merchandise and scarce materials. Like all visitors, they are spoiled by the city's warmth and sense of liberty, not to mention varying seasons, comfort that is often looked upon as nothing more than a myth in their own communities. Though their time in Novigrad is limited due to their families and responsibilities, deep down, they leave the city feeling nothing but regret. For even the short amount of time that they spent on Novigrad's docks, it feels as though they are walking away from paradise.